Everyone, good evening to the board. Here just to talk and share some praise about, 907 Dana Lane. I'm a parent of a current student and a parent of a graduate, my Catherine, who graduated last year, who I want to talk about her great experience with these transcripted credit programs at the school district and the other programs she was able to take advantage of. Through those programs, my daughter, who started at University of Wisconsin Green Bay this fall, actually took about 26 credits with her in her backpack, so to speak. She's almost a sophomore, just starting. She took advantage of transcripted credit classes in the district related to Intro to Psychology, Child Development, Business Applications, as well as took advantage of the ability to take a class at Western Technical College, as well as a very special program near and dear to her heart, being a French student all 4 years, the agreement that the school district has with UW Green Bay, where she took the highest level French class here her senior year, passed that with flying colors, and with that automatically got 12 credits of French at University of Green Bay. We were very thankful for the efforts of Ms. Svetlana Ott in that process, and also by her training as well. When my daughter took the University of Wisconsin placement exam, scored very high as well. So she was going to get those retroactive credits one way or the other. But as a parent in the district and knowing how important it is to prepare our students for the future, for success, I just urge you to really consider how to keep these programs strong and vibrant, and to know that it does have a very positive impact on our students. And my family and my daughter Catherine is one of those examples. So thank you very much for your attention, and thank you for everything you do for our students in the community.
Thank you, Patrick. All right, moving on to the district administrator's report. Dr. Mueller.
Thank you. So this evening I have one item that I wanted to share with our community and those here tonight. Prairie View Elementary has been recognized as a National Blue Ribbon School. This is quite an honor because there's only so many schools in the whole nation that get recognized each year. Just want to take time to really thank all of our staff and our community. It takes all of us to get to an achievement like this. So it's a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, and this one is specifically around achievement, exemplary achievement, which means our students academically are doing very well. So we'll be celebrating this on Wednesday with the staff and students at Prairie View. So great work by everyone, and we're just showing them what Holman really is made of. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Moving on to recognition and thank yous. Also, Dr. Mueller.
Okay. Quite a few people. This is what makes us so great. We had donations of school supplies from Moxie's in town, and also Barry Plussel came in from Edwards Jones, which has been very helpful to our schools. We'd like to thank the family of Richard Granum for donating art supplies to our high school in memory of him. He was a graduate of our high school in 1951. We're very grateful for their generosity. The Knights of Columbus gave a donation to Project Bridge. We're very thankful for them supporting that program. Then on October 2nd, we may not be in school that day, but we can do this any day. It is actually our National Custodians Day. So take time to give a special thanks to those that keep our buildings safe, clean, and actually they do much more than that. They are around the schools. The students know who they are, and they're very helpful. So make sure we take time to thank them this upcoming week and always. And lastly, I just want to take a moment. It is our Wisconsin School Board Week, October 2nd through the 8th. Being a school board member is not an easy task, and I just want to make sure that we take time to thank all of you. There's a lot of time that goes into being a school board member, and some of you are newer to the board and are probably starting to realize that it's not as easy as just showing up to a meeting on a night. So just appreciate all your time, your dedication, and for just listening and being great supports to our purpose, and that's of educating our students. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Chris. All right, moving on to reports and discussion. Holman High School Activities Director Jason Loloff will present the girls wrestling coach agenda item. This item will appear on the October 10th consent agenda.
Hello. I'm here to, excuse me, I'm here to ask for 2 women's wrestling coaching positions, a head coach and an assistant wrestling coach. For those of you that don't know my background, I'm the former wrestling coach, males wrestling coach here. And I've wanted to ask for this for a while, but now that I'm out of that role, I feel a lot more comfortable talking about the need for it. In 2017, 7 girls approached me wanting to start women's wrestling. And ironically enough, I was on a leadership role in the state of Wisconsin and was able to sort of head the chairperson position for women's wrestling. So ironically enough, these students came to me and asked for that opportunity. So I granted that opportunity because there are no rules stating that a woman cannot wrestle because there's no women opportunity. So we went through a season. We used a lot of fundraised dollars. We purchased uniforms. Basically every opportunity that the guys got, we gave to the girls as well. And it ended up being a really great experience. And our numbers have continually grown. In the last 3 years, we've supported more than 20 female athletes. Some reason behind this, little history. We know Holman for a lot of great things, and we're on the map for a lot of great things. If you're not in the wrestling world, you might not know this, but Holman is on the wrestling map, so to say, in the Midwest for women's wrestling. We get contacted from schools all over the country asking about our program. Recently, the WIA sanctioned women's wrestling, and I'd be a fool to say Holman was not a major part of that sanctioning. So here we are. We've had a state tournament for women last year. Holman hosted it, and I guess where my mind is at is we're really relevant, and we would probably look somewhat silly by not appointing these positions as other schools that have 0 girl wrestlers are appointing them across the state. So I think it's a great opportunity for us to continue to be leaders in this great sport. It's one of my favorites. Shouldn't say that as activities director, but it is something that I've spent my whole life leading. And so I have a lot of background in this. So I'm asking for a head women's wrestling coach and an assistant women's wrestling coach. Some other reasons why it's relevant, when we compete, the women's wrestling events aren't necessarily in the same locations as the boys. And so right now we have a boys staff, and if you aren't familiar, we have the largest male wrestling program in the state by a landslide, 10 to 15 more athletes than any other program. So we're supporting over 65 athletes for males and then 20 plus for females. And that's a lot for one head coach to manage both, to send buses in both areas. It's a big task. And I think no other program in the state is ready for this like we are. And we're not the first to go ahead and do that, but I certainly want to continue to be a leader there. Also, believe it or not, our wrestling room is full. We have amazing space. We may have to eventually move some practices to early late with the boys and the girls, and this would certainly take a burden off of the head coach in that regard and allow them to be a coach and then be with their family as well. So I'm requesting those 2 coaches. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Any questions?
I do have a quick question. Mr. Luloff, is the base salary for both the head position and the assistant position the same as the males?
I would highly recommend that.
Okay, so it is the same?
Same.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, it will be. Title IX.
Yes, highly recommend that.
Any other questions? No? Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, moving on to item 9.2. Holman High School Academic and Career Planning Counselor Lindsay Sipe will present the AP results to the board. This item is for report only and will not appear on a consent agenda.
Hello, everybody. I'm Lindsay Sipe. I'm the career counselor at the high school. Excuse me. I am presenting on a few different things today, so I'll be up here for a while. The first thing is the AP update, so advanced placement testing from this past school year. So a little bit about what an AP course is. So students have the ability to take AP courses at the high school. We have many different options. Typically, I would say students start this process sophomore year, although last year we had, in the past 2 years, we've had a few students taking AP courses as a freshman. They're rigorous courses that can essentially save them a lot of money. If they score a 3, 4, or a 5 on their exam, they can have the possibility of earning college credit. The amount of credits that they earn really differs per university depending on where they go. But students can earn 3 credits or 5 credits, or it's a little bit different based off their score. They can stand out in the college admission process through that rigor. It's kind of a good thing to see on a transcript. And they can also help develop those intense study skills to prepare them for college and things after high school. So the courses that we had available last year at Holman High School, here's a list. So we had English Language and Composition, English Lit and Composition, Computer Science Principles, U.S. History, Calculus A-B, Statistics, Chemistry, Computer Science A, Biology, Calc B-C, Physics, and Government. So again, we had a lot of different courses offered. So just a little bit of a history for everybody. So back in 2001, we had 54 students take exams, and we had 51 exams. So a total of 7 courses that were offered for AP. And here is where we are today. So we last year had 163 students test, and we facilitated 224 exams. Typically over the first 2 weeks of May. So it's a very intense 2 weeks for some of those students. Some of them are taking multiple exams. And then again, we offered 11 courses last year. So here's a summary of our scores and where we were at based off that 3, 4, or 5. So as you can see, in 2022, we had 119 students with scores that were a 3 or over, which is really awesome. And the percentage of AP students that scored the 3 or higher was 73%. I always think Mr. Sackett messaged me at one point, and we were talking about the reports, and I always am like fascinated as I'm reading some of these. Like when I looked at the calculus, and I think all of them scored above a 3, it's just amazing to me. So here's where we're at grade level wise. So last year we did not have freshman tests, but we had 40 sophomores, we had 83 juniors, and 153 seniors. So a good variety kind of across. I would say seniors have the most course options, so they have the most choices to take AP courses. So, and how our students are performing, this is by class. So you'll be able to see like 93.3% of our Lit and Comp students scored a 3 or higher. 100% of our Calc BC kids scored a 3 or higher. 94% of our physics students. So some really, really high scores. I personally think a lot for our kids to be proud of. They worked really hard those 2 weeks, and it's an intense 2 weeks. Questions on AP?
Any questions? No, the questions I had you answered, so.
Oh, okay.
So, okay, moving on, Lindsay will continue to present on the early college credit program, the Start College Now, and the dual credit program.
So these are 3 different programs, so I'll kind of talk a little bit about each. I appreciated hearing from Mr. Barlow, so I worked closely with Katie last year. Okay, so Holman High School offers students opportunities to participate in Start College Now with Western, and then early college credit with Viterbo and UWL. Students who qualify for the program, they receive high school credit and they receive credit at the college or university in which they're taking the program through. So we have an application process where students get application materials from myself, and if they want to participate in the fall semester, their applications are due by March 1st. And if they want to participate in the spring, it's October 1st. It's a firm deadline. I feel like our students, the majority of them know about this and take it seriously and kind of work to get those papers in. We have students fill out a Holman High School application, a college application, and then they fill out a parent contract that their parents, the student, and then I go through. So this is the next one. So this is kind of the application process. So it's good to see parents and be able to have parents involved and learn a little bit more about these programs as well through the contract that we established. So here's our numbers for 2022-2023. So this fall, we had 12 credits taken at UWL through students. We have 1 student at Viterbo right now, and then 33 credits of courses at Western. Here's a list of some courses that students are taking. CNA is really popular. We have a lot of high school students who take the CNA course. And then Intro to Sociology is another really popular one at Western, and Race, Class, Gender is as well. We have a few students who, after kind of that UW Green Bay opportunity, they went on and took a 300 level class at UWL. So that was another thing. Dental anatomy was that was a first for us this year at Western, so kind of interesting. And again, spring, our applications are due on October 1st, so they're coming in daily. But a few courses that students have applied to take next semester is inside, there's some sales interests, hospitality, which is newer, I would say, for student interest, and then again, CNA. So here's a little bit of a graph on the 5-year trend for Start College Now, early college credit. And you can see the amount of credits earned. So at Western this past year is 48. Viterbo, we don't have as many students who choose to go to Viterbo. I don't know why that is. But so that's always a little bit lower of a number. We usually have about 1 student who maybe participates per semester. And then 16 students or 16 credits at UWL. So with Start College Now and early college credit, there's a huge financial savings for the student. So at UWL, through the School District of Holmen with early college credit, it's $142 per credit, and then 25% of that is reimbursable. So per credit's about $105.33, which is cheap, as we all would know, for credit at UWL. And so the cost of families outside of early college credit would be like $5,136 for those 12 credits. And for the School District of Holmen, it's $1,263.96. So as you can see, that's a big cost savings. And then below you can see the difference for Western as well. So next is transcripted credit courses. So these are courses that are taught in-house. So our high school teachers teach these courses. They have to meet a certain qualification through Western to be certified to teach transcripted credit to our students. I work closely with Tyler Ludeking at Western and the deans over there to approve our staff members based off their degree and credentials. And then all transcripted credit teachers, we all have to attend a mandatory seminar with other transcripted credit teachers from the area, which is very interesting. And we meet with their staff members and talk just about kind of updates to curriculum and outcomes and things like that. And then at the end, the high school teachers submit grades to Western, and so then our students start to develop that Western transcript. So when they leave Holman, some of them can have a pretty robust Western transcript to take on to wherever they're going after the high school. So here are the transcripted credit courses that we offer at Holman. So it's kind of across the board. So we have a lot in business, and we have a lot in our tech ed department, and we've got some intro to education courses, child development. So the list is kind of over the years has grown. We've lost a few of our courses as staff members have changed a little bit, but we still have one of the largest lists in the area. So the financial impact for 2021 and 2022, so we had 769 students earn transcripted credit during that school year. And we, Western kind of gave out, or students earned, I should say, 3,103 credits. That costs the district nothing, but the cost savings is crazy large, so over $472,000 to our students. So again, really great opportunity. It's kind of exciting for students to be seniors and all of a sudden to realize, oh gosh, I do have all those credits that I didn't even realize because they were taught at the high school and students didn't have to leave our campus and things like that. And the next thing is another in-house college credit opportunity that we offer is dual credit with UW Green Bay. So last year was our first year that our foreign language staff took on this challenge in collaboration with dual credit through UW Green Bay. It's been a great collaboration. It's been a great process. It's offered in our Spanish and French 4. So students pay $300 to have the opportunity to take Spanish 202, which is what the Green Bay class is called, or French 202. And then the students can earn 3 credits in that course, depending on their grade. So if they earn a B or better in that course, they can earn 11 retroactive credits. So that's totaling 14 credits. And then if they earn a B, C, or a C, they earn 5.5 retroactive credits. So they could walk away with 8.5 credits. So we are just in the middle of the registration process this year for UW Green Bay. And it's been a great collaboration. And I think Marina and Svetlana and Mr. Kruger have all agreed on that. So it's a great thing. So this year, so our fall semester, we have about 10 students for Spanish 202, 19 students for French 202. And then we will have a handful of students that will have the opportunity to take Spanish and French 222, which is that next class. So they have the option to pay another $300 to have 3 more credits at that next level if they choose. One thing that I didn't put on here because I just heard back on Friday is that last year, all the students who were enrolled in Spanish 202 and French 202 earned the retroactive credit. So they all earned all the credits possible. So I did just hear that. Any questions?
I have a question. It looks like it could be hard to navigate through some of this for some of the students. Can you tell me how the students find out about these, how they become familiar with them? Is it through the counselors or the teachers, or does every student notified? Or
Yeah, so a few different places. So all this information is in our course description guide. All the counselors meet with the ELA courses in this, well, actually like winter to talk about registration. And we talk a lot about transcripted credit and Start College Now, and we go through each program. I always put multiple postings on our social media as these applications are due. And then in regards to dual credit, we actually, Crystal from UW Green Bay comes and meets with all of our students. So she was here last week, and she hits all of the classrooms, and she'll do the same in the spring to really talk about that option and opportunity. And then for transcripted credit, Western in the past, Isaac Mesra and Tyler Ludeking have come into certain classes, just popped in to talk about transcripted credit. And this year, they're gonna be in every single class to talk about transcripted credit.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have every student exposed to all the programs so somebody doesn't miss out on something.
Yeah, yeah. And it's in our counseling newsletter, yeah.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions for the Start College Now and the Early College Credit. So are the students allowed to leave during the day to go take these courses down?
Yeah.
Or are they expected to take evening courses? No.
No,
They can leave during the
so
day.
yeah, it's built into their schedule at the high school. So on their Infinite Campus schedule, they are excused during that time in which they have class. And some, CNA specifically is always evenings. So those students, are taking class at night. But the other courses, yes, they're excused. We are seeing, we just had a conversation about this, many more students taking online courses.
Okay.
So I think just with COVID, there's more online options at the university and colleges. So, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and then one other question is in regards to the transcripted credit program. You had a lot of courses that are offered. Do you have an idea how many staff we have that are qualified to teach that?
Oh, gosh. I don't know if there's like probably, I would say 15 to 20 of us maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. I could get you the
looked like
real
there was quite
number
a few,
though. Yeah, there is a lot of, a lot. At the seminar, we took up like 4 tables. No other district took up 4 tables. Yeah.
Is that an offering that is pretty common around the district, or is it fairly unique to Holman? Like you talk about the teachers there, is it something that's offered on Alaska, lacrosse?
Yes, in the area, yeah, a lot of high schools offer transcripted credit, yes.
I have one for you too.
Yes.
With the programs you covered, do you, and maybe not at your fingertips, but do you have information about the demographics of the students who participate?
I do not have information of that. I could run a report though.
I was just curious.
Yeah, yeah. Are you talking transcripted or are you talking Start College Now and Early College Credit?
I was kind of overall, I was just talking about like, do we have information about which students
Yeah.
take part in those
Yeah.
opportunities?
I can get you information on it.
The program with UW Green Bay, I'm just curious how that came to be and if there was opportunities like that we could reach out to other universities for something similar.
Yeah, so we had a lot of conversation about that and we kind of reached out to many different universities and UW Green Bay has one of the largest programs doing that. They contract with a lot of schools over in the Appleton area. And so I reached out and they just had a wealth of information and were really willing to come and meet with our students and meet with our staff. And so I think we would be open to others though, for sure. Yeah.
I do have a quick question too. Do you follow students post-graduation to find out how many apply these credits to the degrees that they're earning?
Only the students that I talk to, yeah.
Because that would be incredible information data to have, knowing that, the numbers look great on the screen. But to know, okay, well, only 30% carry them on, that's good to know, versus maybe 80% do.
Yeah. And I know Matt Myers and I were doing a board report 2 years ago, and we had that question. We were kind of thinking, how can we track those? Yeah, because it would be very beneficial to know.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to item 9.4. Summer School Administrators Sue Eitland, Ben Tachner, and Nick Bakke will present with Kim Edwards regarding Summer School 2022 for report only.
Right. Good evening. Well, we have the summer school crew up here. So we have
Mr. Baki, Mr. Tashner, and Ms. Eitland, who will be presenting on their various levels for their summer school programs. And then I'd like to introduce you to Annette. I'm blanking now. Oh my gosh, Gilbertson. She is an aspiring director of instruction, so she's working with me this semester on her practicum, and so we thought this would be a great experience for her in working through board reports and presentations and working with different teams. So I'm going to let Annette start, and then each of our individual building level administrators will take it from there. So go ahead.
All right. So just in overview, our district had 3 different levels of programs this summer. At the elementary level, the Ready, Set, Learn for our incoming kindergarten students, as well as our kiddos in kindergarten through 4th grade, the middle school and high school programs as well. So each one of them will talk more specifically about their programs. And the main goal for our summer school programs was to set our students up for success by reducing or eliminating summer learning loss, providing that instructional support that our students need, trying to accelerate learning, allowing for credit recovery, and then just also opportunities for enrichment for them. And then Sue gets to go.
Thank you. Good evening. It's nice to see some new faces on here since last year's presentation, so welcome to all of you. And so as Annette had mentioned, we did have our Ready, Set, Let's Learn program. This is for incoming kindergarten students. What we did was divide the students into classes based upon which elementary school they would be attending for kindergarten. So we put 20 students in a classroom with 1 teacher and an education assistant. So we had a total of 80 Ready, Set, Let's Learn students. And just like the kindergarten through 4th grade students, they attended summer school for 14 mornings. So the purpose of this was to build some relationships with their teachers, meet some friends that are going to be going to the same elementary school, and then they got to learn some routines and expectations and just participate in activities that they would be doing in kindergarten. For kindergarten through 4th grade, they were in the same building. Summer school was held at Sand Lake this year. And so we had 327 students participate. And something that was a little bit different this year was that we had in every classroom either an education assistant with the teacher or we had an interventionist. The interventionists were for the, I should clarify that, for the reading and the math classes, we had that. For the enrichment classes, there was just the teacher. But we felt like they could benefit from some additional support. So after the universal instruction was taught, then the interventionist would work with small groups of students, or the teacher would work with a small group of students, and the education assistant would monitor the other students while they were working on tasks that were assigned. So again, the purpose is to build relationships with the teachers, make new friends, review those grade level skills that maybe were lacking a little bit by the end of the year. And then that enjoyment of the enrichment classes. We had some fun ones, and they're listed here for you. So again, every student that came to elementary summer school took reading and math, and then they had 1 enrichment class at their grade level. So for kindergarten, Friends in Motion, it was a gym class. 1st grade, Discovery Science was a favorite among many of our students. Maybe you saw on Facebook, I know Travis Udell was there a couple of days, recording some students dropping, actually it was the custodian who dropped the egg off the roof at Sand Lake. And then they also made some goop and they were walking through it. So maybe you saw some pictures on Facebook. 2nd grade was Jammin' with Joy. They were incredible, playing drums and different instruments that Mrs. Robinson had created for them. 3rd grade was Art from the Heart from Mrs. Wink, and grade 4, Outdoor Survival Skills. Mike Klein does a really great job with the kids, getting them outside and teaching them safety along with the proper way to, if they really did have to survive outdoors, what could they do to survive? So just wanted to point out a few differences from previous summer school sessions. It has always been our goal to get as many students as possible to attend summer school who really kind of need to be there. And in previous years, we haven't had as high of a percentage as we wanted, so we did have over 50% of our students that were recommended to attend for reading and math purposes. And then several years ago, our class sizes were pretty small. We do tend to use the school board guidelines. So for kindergarten, we had 20 students in the class, and then as the grades increase, we went up by 1 per class in each class and grade level. We did have a few staffing challenges this year. We did end up needing to hire outside the district, which was a little challenging because it's hard for someone to come in from another district and try to get used to what we're doing. It was only 14 days, but at the same time, you're expected to be able to teach and use the curriculum that we have. And so it was a little challenging, but it was really helpful for our, because our instructional services team worked with everyone that was teaching, the reading and math teachers, to get them on board, give them some resources, and it was very helpful. So that was very much appreciated. And then we just, I think coming off of COVID, there were some more concerns with social emotional issues that would arise. And so we were handling some of those things, but it was helpful to have a behavior support person. And we made it through and tried to help the students out as best we could if they were struggling or dysregulated on a particular day. So again, we were looking at the positive things, which we got the kids there that needed to be there, and we were really happy with that and hope to continue that in the future. So.
Perfect. Hello, I'm Ben Taschner, Associate Principal and Activities Director at the middle school. This is my first year here, so this was pretty exciting to get hired, and then a week later started summer school. So it was awesome. I had amazing staff at summer school that really helped guide me through, or helped guide with the students and all of that. So I enjoyed that piece of it. So, oops. So at the middle school, we have kind of an enrichment block, a remedial block, and then we also have our mandatory summer school for our 8th grade students that are moving up to the high school. And so in the enrichment block, those students stayed with the 2 teachers there and kind of worked through the day, incorporating ELA, math, art, and PE. And so I'll talk about that. They did more of a zoo creation from scratch. Remedial is that recommendation of students, and so then they participate through the recommendation in ELA and math, and then also had a STEM block where they also did an egg drop, and so I know the kids really enjoyed that in PE. And then our 8th grade mandatory summer school, where we have kids that have kind of met that criteria, looking at their grades and just kind of that GPA, and then also looking at the forward exam on who's required to attend that mandatory summer school, and then we work on classes that they failed to kind of get them ready for high school. So here's the enrichment. The students working, they were able to kind of take a trip to the Minnesota Zoo to really see the behind the scenes of what it takes to run a zoo. And then when they came back, they really kind of developed the zoo from beginning to end and the behind the scenes, the creation. We had parents come in and view all their exhibits. And so the kids enjoyed showing off their exhibits, and parents were kind of smiling as they watched their kids really talk about their exhibits in the class. And so then looking at music, a number of band students and orchestra students that we had, and really those individual lessons, some 6th graders getting ready for band as it's their first experience, and kind of the putting full band together and really just exposing the students to their new instrument or prepping them for the marching band season as they come back to school in the fall.
Hello, everybody. My name is Nick Bakke, and I am one of the associate principals at the high school. High school, we have a couple different reasons to do the high school. The first one is just kind of getting a head start on Holman High School as a total. So sometimes kids coming in as 8th grade, they might have a full course load. They might be involved in maybe a band and choir. And because of the course requests as freshmen, that gets their schedules really tight. So some students offer to take maybe one class over the summer to help kind of offset some of that load as a freshman, to maybe offer, or an opportunity for them to maybe take a study hall or to fit all the other courses in. We also have electives that are offered in the summer, similar to what the middle school is, from a band, choir, orchestra, to kind of get them, one, ready for the band season, as in addition to the choir and orchestra units as well. And then the last session, we also do a remediation, and this is something we've kind of developed actually out of COVID, and we have found some really strong success from that, which I know it's always great to kind of take some positiveness out of some of the things that we've been dealing with. So we'll get to that in a little bit further. So the first session, we run 2 sessions at the high school. The first session, we had 197 students sign up. This is optional, so these are all selected courses that the students put in for themselves. We do this in January and February, and out of those 197 students, 116.5 credits were earned this summer, and then those are the particular courses that are offered. We only offer graduation credit courses, so we do not allow electives. We're only trying to get to the core courses for those students that would need to be able to take these in order to be able to graduate for session 1. Session 2 is our remediation section. What we have found, we had this open as a voluntary opportunity for students about 3 years ago. And what we realized is that there was several barriers in place for some of our students to be able to be successful. The first one, when it was optional, then that forced families to have to go online and register for these particular courses through Infinite Campus. So there's barriers there, from just being technologically savvy to being able to know when the windows are, when they have internet access, etc. So what we have done now over the last 2 years is we've set thresholds for students that have earned above a certain percentage. 45% was what we used this year, but below the passing grade. And what we do is we automatically enroll those students into those courses, automatically. We do the registration for them, and then we do the communication back out to the students and the families and saying, you are registered for these particular courses. This is why we would recommend that you take the class. And these are the time frames, et cetera, and how the course is going to be able to run. It's still voluntary. We're not going to chase them down because they still have summer commitments, and we're not going there. But it's really try to remove that barrier for some of these families to be able to participate and allow their child to be able to continue to be on track for graduation. Those are all the courses that we do offer for credit recovery. Again, core courses, requirements for graduation. This past summer then, we had 74 students enrolled. 55 students took advantage of that opportunity, earning roughly 37 credits for themselves to be able to get on track for graduation. Some of those students may have taken more than one course. So as you do the math, it's not that they're in maybe one particular course. There's a student that can come in and maybe they have 3 classes that they didn't do well in, and they could take advantage of all of those courses simultaneously. I cannot give enough credit to our educators that take advantage of this for us. They're taking time out of their day and their summer to be able to do this work for our students. They are personalizing every single instructional course for them. So they are looking at, for example, Nick Bakke, what unit did I not do well? They are designing reteaching opportunities for them to do and perform that level, that standard. Once I would meet that standard, then I earn the credit, justify it, and then I can move on to something else. So it's very personalized learning that our educators are taking advantage of. In addition, session 2, we also run our band, choir, and orchestra. A very strong highlight that I would like to say is that orchestra, we had 28 students participate this summer. There was an increase of 21 students from last summer involved in the orchestra. Band and choir are pretty relative to right where they were in the past. So any questions for me or anybody else that's gotten off the hot seat here, I guess? Oh, one other thing I would like to point out too, another barrier that we saw last summer and that we made an adjustment was for transportation. So in the past, we have not offered transportation for high school students. And this past summer, we now allowed and offered transportation for these students to be able to not only take advantage of this, but we can get them here in the seats and we'll pick them up and bring them home when they need to.
Yeah, so why 45% threshold?
Well, in talking with the educators, we have a short window of opportunity for relearning, right? So if a student would earn a 20%, for example, what that has demonstrated to us is that they probably don't understand enough of the concepts and they most likely should probably retake the course. So we set a threshold in there arbitrarily. There's no there's no research out there, but working with our educators, kind of figuring out what the numbers are. We looked around 50, and then we also see what the overall numbers of students are. So we started at about 50%, but knowing that we had 74, we can manage a little bit more. We drop it down to 45 to make the numbers manageable for the teachers. But then also kind of saying, you maybe you're missing 1 to 2 units or 1 to 2 concepts. You're not losing 80% of the content, and you have to probably retake the course.
Okay. So it was like noted with the elementary students, a lot more like social, emotional, and behavioral issues. Do we see that also with the middle school and high school?
We don't see the behaviors at all at the high school. I'll be honest with you, during the summer school, it's more on their time. And I think being the age that they are, I think you have that regulation is able to take place a little bit better than as an elementary level of students. The one thing that's hardened for me is that I'm really proud of 55 students earning 37 credits, but that also tells me there's 19 kids out there that didn't get in here and didn't take advantage of something that we wish they would have. And again, there's a multitude of reasons why that could potentially happen. But that's an area I think from us to try to be able to continue to go after and try to be able to continue to find areas for us to improve, not from an emotional regulation, but just being able to get kids to be able to come in and take advantage of these opportunities.
Yeah.
And from a middle school perspective, I would say there's always opportunities that we're learning in different situations. So there were conversations that were had, but it's also they're middle school students and it's the summer, and so some of them don't want to be in school, but just kind of looking at the opportunities that we have at school to make them more engaging and just kind of have them that want to come to school in the summer too. So.
Then I guess I have a question for Sue. Just, seeing the social, emotional, behavioral challenges and knowing that at least 50% of the summer school students were recommended, and with the classroom size and shortage of teachers, I mean, do you have ideas on how we can do things different next summer to help our elementary school students?
Yes, we actually have scheduled a meeting to take place in the very near future to talk about how we can address some of those issues. And so I have spoken to another district to find out how they do some things. And so we will be having that meeting coming up in the near future. And then I can address the answer to those questions, or to that question, when we come back to present what we will do for summer school for next year, because the planning will start in a couple more months. So,
Great, thank you.
yeah, and I forgot to mention too, I want to give a public shout out to Holman's Hope. They donated some snacks for our elementary students, and that was very much appreciated. So special thanks to them.
Thank you. Any other questions? No, all right, thank you all.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to the consent agenda items. For the consent agenda, the board has been furnished with background materials on each item or has discussed it at a previous meeting. These will be acted upon with one vote without discussion. If a board member wants to discuss any item, it will be pulled out of the consent agenda and will be voted on separately. Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as provided.
So moved.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, Brian has made the motion, Chris has seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion passes. All right, moving on to the board debrief. First, I will call upon board members and ask you to present any comments or committee reports you have. And Bridget, we'll start with you tonight.
All right, thank you. Just a couple of comments. Just wanted to highly encourage participation at one of the upcoming referendum open houses. I know as school board members, we will all be attending those open houses to help answer questions. Just want to congratulate Prairie View Elementary for being recognized as a national Blue Ribbon School. I do think that is really incredible and a true highlight of our district. And then I wanted to kind of give a shout out to a new teacher at the Holman Middle School, Mr. Rickert. Attended a show choir meeting tonight, and just exciting to see a new teacher kind of take on a new endeavors. Show Choir hasn't been at the middle school for the last 2 years. He already has over 50 students who have auditioned and signed up for that. And he just really recognized the support of his administration and some of the collaboration with the high school teachers as well. And then finally, just wanted to thank the district for the opportunity to attend the regional school board fall meeting next month. I just feel really honored to be on this school board and representing such an amazing school district. So that's all I have.
All right, thanks, Bridget. Brian?
I'd like to congratulate Prairie View Elementary as well for earning the National Blue Ribbon School Award. We're very, very proud of the work that you've done for the district and for our students. In regards to the women's wrestling team, I think Mr. Luloff has done a tremendous job at bringing this to our district. And when we talk about equality and that sense of belonging, this is a great way to make those female athletes feel as though they belong in our sports program. And it was great to hear from Mr. Barlow tonight in terms of the credit that the students earn in high school. I think it's a incredible opportunity for us to bridge that gap between high school and post-secondary college. And when it comes to our foreign language department, we have an outstanding team that works very, very hard. And the dual credit with that Green Bay program is 10 years in the making. And when it comes down to why Green Bay and let's say, why not UWL, it's really about accessibility. UWL has some stringent requirements that would prevent all the students from accessing those programs, but UW Green Bay welcomes them. And it's amazing the number of credits that those students can earn and the great conversations that those teachers can have with students when it comes to what are the next steps in your learning path when it comes to proficiency. So thank you for the work that you do in those programs.
Okay, Barb.
I would like to take a moment to also recognize our custodians. We won't meet again until after October 2nd, but tonight at the grounds committee meeting, we got to see a video that will be coming out shortly, highlighting some of the things on the referendum for the middle school, and it was commented just how far they go to make things look good with what they have to work with. And so I just think that they need to be recognized. And also, I can speak as a parent who had children in the district as far as the early college credit and the transcripted credit programs. The students got to see, while they were still in high school, what kind of work is going to be expected of them when they are in college. And I think it gave them a really good idea of the work that had to be done when they made that decision as to whether or not they were going to go forth to college. And so I think that that continues to be a positive here in our district.
All right, thanks, Barb. Alan?
Yeah, so we had homecoming week, which was great. We did really great at pretty much all our sporting events. In fact, the day after the football game, I had the pleasure of talking to some people from Toma. Well, they weren't super happy about losing. They I think every single one of them I talked to commented on they really felt like the spirit and they didn't feel like they were out of place there. They really loved the whole vibe there. They really had a lot of fun with that. So yeah, it was great. And we were able to roll that victory into another one against Sparta, which was great. We're getting back into the game. And then this weekend at Maple Grove, our girls cross country placed first, which is great. And then boys placed fourth out of, I want to say 22 some teams, which is awesome. They're always doing great. And it's always great to see. And I also want to thank Mr. Luloff for bringing that girls wrestling coach up here. It's good to see, we pioneered it with girls wrestling, and to see keep following through and keep trying to bring that foot forward, because it gives opportunities to more of our students, a lot like the credit programs. I think it's just good that our school's working hard to make sure that if you want to go with athletics, we can support you through that. Or if you want to go through the trades, we can support you with that. Or if you want to do like a 4-year school, we can support you through that. I think Mrs. Sipe really undersold how much the counselors, it's almost annoying how much they talk to you about it. It's way too much, honestly. But it's just great to see that they're really trying to get you, no matter what. They're really we're going to support you, and I like to see that we're expanding that a lot more, and so that's really great to hear. And see.
Make sure that's in the notes, Stacy. So. All right, Maggie.
Well, on the heels of that report, I'll just give lots of kudos tonight. Kudos to the custodians and the teams that work so hard to keep the schools spick and span. Big congratulations to the Prairie View team. And then Ready, Set, Learn and summer school. I think especially important this past summer. I had 3 kids in those programs and heard many positive comments from others in the neighborhoods. And then I also want to echo that it was, I loved hearing the backstory behind the girls wrestling in the district and hearing that that was student driven. I have a niece who is a wrestler and have seen Holman at events. I think that's amazing, and it's come such a long way within WIAA just in the last couple of years. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Gary.
I'd like to congratulate Prairie View as well. Did a great job up there. I've known Nick since he was in first grade himself, so it's great to see him be successful. There's lots of great things going on in the school district right now, and I saw some events on kids being inclusive, and of course we had the Hmong New Year that went by. It's just good to see everything going on so well. The volleyball, they had a volleyball tournament in the Dells Saturday for the JV and the varsity reserves, and both teams came through the tournament undefeated. And so they got a lot of talent coming up for volleyball in the near future. And I'm glad to see the girls wrestling program grow. It's exciting to watch those guys get out there and wrestle. And I really enjoyed watching them get out there and mix it up with the boys last year and teach them how to wrestle. They did a great job. That was really exciting. I do have a granddaughter who's a freshman in the high school this year, so I got an official report from her on how the high school's doing. She just said she didn't get lost, and everybody was very helpful. And it seemed like to me since she's been there, she just blossomed. She's been lifting weights and getting involved with the other kids and doing lots of things. And she loved middle school, but she really likes the high school a lot. So that's thanks to everybody for making that happen for her as well.
Okay, thanks, Gary. Chris.
Yes, congratulations to Prairie View. It's quite an honor to be a Blue Ribbon school. Thanks to custodians, everybody else has said, and then just excited to hear some of the expanded opportunities for our students with the girls wrestling program, the AP courses, early college classes, and the summer school offerings. From a board perspective, we did have our facilities meeting, like Barb said. Nothing really of note. It was kind of our first organizational meeting, so just getting the new committee together. We are transitioning to a new policies platform. The Neola platform is what we're going to be using to kind of standardize all of our policies across the district. We have 2 policies for facilities that are coming up here to be reviewed in the next meeting. Our policy on drones and drone usage within the district, and then commercialism, so what kind of advertising we can have in the district. We do have a referendum update, which is a big part of our facilities meeting. Like Barb said, we do have a video coming out here soon, I believe this week, that Travis put together about, it's going to be 3-part videos about each one of the schools that are mostly impacted by the referendum. We did watch the middle school one tonight. It was very good, very informative, very eye-opening to see what the custodial staff has to work with in the building. I think it'll be enlightening for the community to see that. We will be sending out the Visions mailer this week. There will be a very nice fact sheet, information sheet that's included in that. It's going out to all the districts, all the district residents. We do have our website, the holman.referendumfacts.org, if anybody wants to visit that, and that'll be within the information that comes out this week in the Visions. And then we do have the open houses over the latter part of October, October 12th at Evergreen, October 18th at the middle school, and then October 26th at Viking. So I know we will have board presence there, and the administration from the district and from the buildings will be available for questions. So that's all I have, I think.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Yes, I'd also like to congratulate Prairie View Elementary on their recognition, and I know many of us sitting up here are looking forward to joining you on Wednesday to celebrate. I also wanted to mention the Hmong New Year. I've really enjoyed the celebrations in the last week, from the video that was put together in our district to actually attending the Hmong New Year celebration at Veterans Memorial Park in West Salem this last weekend. So it was really a pleasure to be there. Took the kids, ate the food, and it was amazing. And we look forward to attending again next year. Also, just a shout out to the custodians for the upcoming National Custodians Day. I just want to recognize all our dedicated and hardworking custodians. We really appreciate what each and every one of you do to keep our buildings up to speed and clean, and for our students, and just keeping our facilities in excellent condition. And I just want to reiterate that if you see a custodian in school, to please thank them and let them know that they are seen and they are appreciated. And I also, with the upcoming Wisconsin School Board Week, I just want to express my gratitude to each and every board member sitting here with me. I feel like this particular board is a very strong group collectively, given all of the varied professional backgrounds each one of us has and can bring to the table. And I'm very impressed with the very strong commitment this board has to our staff and our students. And I'm excited to continue to serve with all of you and moving this district forward. So thank all of you. So, and lastly, I just want to express my heartfelt condolences to the family of Leslie Lee. So that's all I have. We will be moving into closed session. So, Mr. Wopat, would you please read the motion to move to closed session?
Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby moves to adjourn into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 19.851E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons required a closed session. In this case, discussion of the potential sale of district property at W7908 County Highway Z in Onalaska, Wisconsin. When we do the roll call, just a reminder that it's yes or no. Bridget Todd Robbins.
Yes.
Brian Wopat, yes. Barb Wench.
Yes.
Jennifer Deek.
Yes.
Maggie Smith.
Yes.
Gary Dunlap.
Yes.
Chris Lau.
Yes.
Okay, motion made by Brian Wopat. Is there a second?
I will second.
All right, Chris seconds. Motion passes. We'll resume once the boardroom is